Yeah, that looks okay. Oh, welcome everyone. We were just having a little bit of technical difficulty, so it took us a little bit to get started. So we'll start with the guided meditation. And I usually start with just the body scanning to get everybody settled into the present moment. Is one of the benefits of getting in touch with the body. But once you're sitting for a while, you'll notice that thoughts will come up. I'm just saying this before I start the guided meditation. So when we get into the period of silence and there's no one guiding you, then the mind might want to start talking to itself. So this is normal. And part of what we're learning, part of what we're training ourselves in is how to direct attention. This is one of the things we want to learn when we're practicing meditation is how and how we direct our attention and what we're directing our attention to, and also the ability to sustain the attention. And this is useful in any activity. So how we direct our attention is carefully, wisely. So we will observe when things come up in our mind. We observe we're learning also to kind of step back and not identify with what's arising. If a thought just is spontaneously arising, if we can just kind of like observe, like watching a movie, a memory comes up, and then just be aware that that's a memory arising, and just allow it to come up and pass if we can. And sometimes just that stepping back helps us just to let the thought pass. And if we see, a memory of something that happened, recently or 20 years ago can bring up an emotion. So you might see anger, sadness, joy, any of those. But being aware of that and something that's emotionally charged is harder to let go of. So you might think, that happened 20 years ago and I'm still upset about it. And the person may not even be in our lives anymore, or they may still be. But is it possible to let go? There we have compassion for ourselves and the others. So there's ways of working with it, like how we pay attention to it, what we're paying attention to. If we decide that we're just observing thoughts, that's okay too. But I like to have the body as an anchor, because otherwise we get lost in the thoughts, so we get into proliferating. So looking at kind of distancing ourselves a little bit from what's arising and looking at it carefully, observing it with care. And then we can redirect our attention, easily back to the body. But we just kind of have to let the thought just kind of dissipate. We're not going to meet it with resistance. We shouldn't, that it's not going to help if we're saying, no, I shouldn't be thinking this. No, I don't want to remember that. No, I don't want to be feeling that way. So this is creating resistance in the mind. So we're giving our careful attention, seeing what the quality of what's arising is. You don't have to give too much but especially if it's emotionally charged, then we'll take more care of it. If it's just a random thought, we can just let it go and just come back to the object of meditation. So this is some of what we're developing, and I just wanted to explain that before we get started in the actual guided meditation, and then there'll be some time at the end for questions. So welcome everyone, and get yourselves into a comfortable position that you can hold still. Upright is best. Seated in you can sit cross-legged, that's wonderful. If you can sit upright in a chair, that's great too. If you need a little bit of back support, make sure that you're not slouching, that there's the natural curve of the back is in the right position, supporting alertness and ease. So we'll start with bringing awareness to the body as a whole. If you can do that. Just sensing the weight of the body against what's supporting it. Sense the temperature of the air against the skin. And a touch of the clothing against the skin. Anything that gets your attention to this body in this present moment. And then gradually starting with the feet, sensing the feet, maybe the feet touching the floor or pressed up against some part of the body, the legs, if you're cross-legged. And then bringing the awareness gradually up the legs. All the way up the hips to the hips and the buttocks. And upwards over the back and abdomen, low back and abdomen. Sense the expanding and contracting of the abdomen with the breath. And the mid back and chest. Sensing the gentle tide of the breath, expanding and contracting the chest. And the shoulders. And down the arms. You might sense the touch of the arms against the sides of the body, the lap. All the way down to the fingertips. Just really letting the hands be at ease. And then bringing the awareness upwards. Again to the shoulders, the neck. And sensing the back of the head. And sides of the head. And bringing your kind and caring attention up to the top of the head. Allowing the attention to drift downwards over the forehead. And around the eyes are lightly closed in this tradition. And the jaws, the teeth lightly touching. And tongue at rest in the mouth, occupying the cavity of the mouth. And lips lightly touching. And you can welcome a smile to your face if it seems to rise naturally. And then drifting downwards. Awareness going over the neck, and shoulders. Feeling the expanding and contracting of the torso, abdomen, and you can continue scanning downwards all the way down to the feet if you care to at this point, or bring the attention to the breath cycle. And then whenever you feel ready to, you can bring your attention to one area of where you can sense the breathing, either at the nostrils, the abdomen, even one point at the chest. And just feeling the breath pass over that spot. Only when the mind feels settled enough to stay in one location, one area of focus. And we'll continue for another 19 minutes in silence. Dukkha pata chani dukkha, baya pata chani baya, sokha pata chani sokha, hontu sabe pipanino. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear-struck be free from fear. May the sorrowful be free from sorrow. So too, may all beings be free. So I hope you had some amount of calm and peace and settledness. This is a natural unfolding of the practice, and it's practice actually. So the more we give ourselves to this practice, the more we'll find that the mind settles, and we're developing skills. And part of what we're developing also is a wisdom and compassion for ourselves and others. So when we're sitting, the compassionate towards our own experience, and also wisdom, using wisdom to observe what's going on. So it's nothing to be forced, but it does take kindness and care. So I'm going to change the view here. I guess you have control of your own view, but I'm setting it so I can see more people. And I believe that my friend who helped me set up this program has put it on live stream. So if you don't want to be seen, then you can just turn off your camera. But does anyone have any questions about your experience during the meditation this morning, or about meditation in general, or anything I've said that you've heard me say so far? Everyone's doing well. Well, it's a new year, and you might have a resolution. I don't know. Did anyone make a New Year's resolution? No, don't believe in that kind of thing. Well, in the Buddhist teaching, there is something called resolve. So making a dedication or resolve. So I encourage everyone, as I was saying, this is a practice. And if you spend 10 minutes, 15 minutes, once or twice a day, if that's what you have available in your life right now, then that, it's better than doing it once a week or every so often or something. So I really strongly recommend. And a teacher told me twice a day, if you're only going to be sitting for 10 or 15 minutes, do it twice. Then if you miss one, then you're at least doing the other one. You try to at least do one. So if you set up 2 times during the day, okay, just before bed or just when I wake up, then, and this is when I was a single parent and working in the world before I went into robes, I made that dedication. And I found out that because I had this idea, I had to sit for an hour or 40 minutes or something like that. So I wasn't doing it. But the teacher said, just sit for 15 minutes. And I thought, well, I can do that. So maybe all of you are sitting more, having a longer periods during the day. So when you have more time, then sit longer. And if you don't, at least give yourself 15 or 20 minutes. That's my general recommendation. So any thoughts, any experiences about meditation specifically, if you Let's see, Amy.
Yeah, I'm still kind of new to meditation. And so when you said 19 minutes, I kind of internally became very anxious, but
Oh,
I'm glad
see.
that I did it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So I'm really glad that I did it because it actually was quicker than I thought. And I just realized how much I have going on internally and how much I need something like this. So it was really helpful in the end. I just had to prove to myself I could do it.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so that's why making a dedication to yourself to some amount of time that you feel comfortable with. So you say, oh, okay, I tried 19, so maybe I'll do 20. and so and then we can gradually increase the time that we set. It depends on what's going on in our lives and our character. Some people can just, their minds can just be peaceful right away, and other people are quite busy. I want to repeat this story I've said more than once, but there was we used to, Ayatollah and I used to live very close to a Thai temple, Wat Bhutanaswaran. And so we would go there, and there was this young couple, they seemed like they're teenagers or something, a young man and a young woman. And so Ayatollah was giving meditation instruction. And then I think we sat just quietly for like 5 minutes or something. It was not very long. And then the young lady said, oh, that was so peaceful, so wonderful. And the young man was like, oh, my mind is so chaotic. So I think, it depends on the person and what's going on in their life, and a lot of different factors, of course. So you'll find that too. There'll be times when the mind can settle more easily. And then times when, obviously, if a lot's going on in your life, it's much more difficult to let go. And then not to think it's bad, like the meditation is bad because your mind is busy. It's, oh, the mind is busy. And observing, like I was saying, how stepping back a little bit, saying, oh, the mind is busy, and having compassion for oneself, oh, okay, this is how things are in my life right now. So we can use, like I like to use the body. When I see my mind really busy, I check in with the body. And a lot of times that's like my hands or some part of the shoulders or something I sense. So I put a lot of kindness to the areas that I feel tension in. And if you can let the body relax. This is why I like this body sweeping. You let the body relax, then the mind may relax also. You can't force it, but the body is a reflection of the mind. So just for me, when I see, like, I was in the dentist chair, and I could feel my hands really tensing up. So I was really intentionally relaxing them and bringing actually my attention to my feet. So I wasn't so like focused on what was going on in my mouth. I was still aware of it, but I wasn't like, anyway, so it broadened my awareness so that I was able to relax more. But of course, there's situations where that's very challenging, if maybe even impossible for some to be at ease with. But anyway, so I'm just offering that also, for the mind and body work together. Oh, yes. Kusala, do you have a
Yes, please. Could you just speak to the skillfulness around making resolutions, but not coming from that place of desiring to be a better whatever, a better meditator, a better partner, a better, there's that fine line between aversion to not accepting who we are in this moment and wanting that desire of becoming a better whatever. It's there's just a skillfulness around that. And because I can get into the not liking myself the way I am right now, and I want to be better over here, but I can see that causes suffering because there's the aversion of now versus the wanting of then. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So
Thank
the
you.
Lord Buddha, has talked about the Four Noble Truths, and the desire being the cause of suffering. So you're talking about the second noble truth there, seeing the desire and how it's causing suffering for ourselves. So, so there is wholesome desire, actually called, there's chanda. And but it's, there's a difference between grasping and this kind of chanda, which is, a kind of it's like a wish or something like that, but it's not, you're not grasping at results like you're talking about wanting to be different, like you're being compassionate toward yourself. I see anger in myself and I want to let it go, but I can't force myself to let go of the anger. So I have compassion. Oh, I look at it, I direct my attention to the anger in a way. I say, oh, I can see how it's harmful to myself. I can see how it's causing tension in my body. So instead of saying, I have to stop this now, I'm making this resolve not to be angry. That's kind of useless. Like I was saying earlier, it's not, you're putting like a resistance against something. So just how you're making the resolve, how you say, I'm noticing this unskillful behavior in myself and just examining that carefully. Oh, I can see how it's causing suffering for myself when I engage in this harmful activity. And then a lot of times just bringing attention to it in that way helps us let go of it, helps us untangle it, instead of like you're saying, not beating ourselves up because we have that. It's like, oh, there it is again. This is arising again, or this. But to change the behavior is just be compassionate and patient. That's going to take time, and to establish yourself into, like if you're picking up a new behavior, like making a resolve to meditate regularly, like I was saying. And when we miss it, we have to have compassion to ourselves, but also somehow bringing up the interest and the something that helps us reinforce the behavior, like in this electronic era. In the olden days, before COVID, before cell phones, I used to go to a very small Zendo, and even if there was just one or two other people, it encouraged me to go daily because there were other people doing it at the same time. So before COVID, electronic era, I don't know what we call it, internet era. But now there are apps. Somebody showed me there was like a site where you can log in or something, and it has you can see how many people at one time have logged in are doing metta, bhavana, loving kindness, or anapanasati, or just meditating at all. So if there's something that you can do to help you reinforce a wholesome activity, finding other people. This is the Kalyanamita is going to help us with wholesome behaviors. So they're keeping their moral or ethical discipline well. They're studying the suttas. They're doing like these activities that maybe we want to start engaging in. So we seek out people to help us reinforce the wholesome and avoid. This is actually in the teaching. You avoid people that are engaging in activities that are unwholesome. So I hope this is helping you, Kusala. I don't know if that's still on the line of what you were asking about, but I think an influence, a positive influence somehow or another, and being kind to yourself, and seeing the harm and the unwholesome, and seeing the benefit also. We can rejoice when we see, oh yeah, I did sit for 20 minutes and I can see the calmness, or I could see how busy my mind is, and I can understand myself a little bit better. Whatever it is, I can just say, oh, okay, I did, or I just did it. And we can rejoice, no matter what the state of mind is, we can just rejoice that we just did it. So,
yeah, I think I while you were speaking, just a couple of thoughts. Because sometimes I'm into that state of just accepting things for what they are. How we say, oh, well, that's my nature, that's his nature. So we can be in that place of the just accepting. But if the situation is causing suffering, then there is more skillful means to move to a different place rather than accepting. Like, why accept something that is causing suffering, especially when you can see it clearly. It's like, this is causing suffering, so there is a better way to live, which is basically what we're all saying.
Yeah, thank you for phrasing it like that, and working out for yourself and understanding. I mean, that's really good sometimes to put it in your own words, or to what you're trying to aim towards. Yeah, so certainly we want to abandon behaviors that are harmful to ourselves internally, mental, through body, speech, and mind. And if we see that in ourselves, really to see the harm we're causing ourselves or others, and then the resolve will come up. Then it'll be easier to let go of it. And it's much harder with other people. Mostly, I mean, we may mention something, point something out, but we can't force anybody to change their behavior. And if we have a choice, we might, like, it depends on our relationship with them. We may choose not to be around them if it's a really harmful situation. So we don't have to submit ourselves unnecessarily to harmful people. And depending on what the activity is too, I used to work in alcohol and drug treatment, and there was trainings for families to confront the alcoholic, actually, and to try to get them into treatment. Because once, if somebody's under the influence, there's no way that they're gonna unless sometimes they hit at such a low bottom that they do go, oh, I think actually I do need to change my behavior. But that's usually after the family's given up on them, they've lost their job, they've lost their marriage or whatever. They come in because they've just, and some people end up in the gutter and they don't They don't ever get help. So sometimes confronting somebody that you love for behaviors that are harmful can be effective, but that's very difficult. So it depends on what it is and how harmful it is, and what, there's so many different variables. Other people's behavior. Our behavior, we definitely have much more influence on, but we still need to be patient. We still need to be kind. And some teachers talk about just setting the causes in place to make those changes. And some of it is just telling ourselves, I mean, I would like to change this behavior. You might just voice it, but not get ourselves, you can't, I don't know. Sometimes in the Buddhist teaching, he talks about really being tough with ourselves in certain situations, like just say no. Just that's really a bad idea. So, taking something that's not ours, let's say, and we're tempted to do that. I don't, not that anyone would hear, but some people have history of that kind of behavior, and because of life circumstance or whatever. And so some old habits pop up like that, and then we go, oh, bad idea. Really, that's a bad idea. I'm not going to do that. No. So it's discernment. It's using wisdom, the balance of the wisdom and compassion. And it's a skill, and it's a practice that takes time and lots of patience and loving kindness towards ourselves and others. So it's about time to close, unless somebody has some brief comment or question I could answer briefly. I see Spita there, and Ananea, and some people who I've seen. I haven't seen their faces, but I've seen their. I don't know what's that called. When your camera's off and you have a picture. Anyway, so I hope you all have a wonderful day and a wonderful new year, and maybe I'll see you Tuesday evening or next week. So take care, everyone. And we'll end with the paying homage to the triple gem. I'm going to turn towards my altar. And if you have an altar yourself, you can turn towards that, or you can just bow towards the altar on the screen here. Araham Sama Sambuddho Bhagava Bhutam Bhagavantam Abhivademi Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammam Namasami. Supatipanno Bhagavato Sawaka Sangho Sangham Namami. Have a good day. Good to see you.
Thank you, Aya.
Oh, thank you. Good to see you, Ananea.
Good to see you too. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.